Hey everybody, my name is Ian Lauer. So I am an astrophotographer. What does that mean? I take pictures of space, including eclipses, and I'm super excited to photograph the upcoming eclipse. So accommodating astrophotographers at eclipses, what do you do? Well, obviously you have to have a limo pick them up. You got to have the red carpet roll out, doves come out when they come. I'm just kidding. I was really thinking about this really hard. What are the things that are important? And obviously the impact on the community, creating a new era of astrophotographers, supporting them, doing all those types of things. But really, no, it doesn't like that. There we go. I really thought, why should we support them? Why should we support these folks who are taking these pictures? Why is that important? And I thought really long and hard about it. And it came to me that it was right in front of me. It's the photos that they take. The photos are what are important. I mean, here are some of the most iconic photos of eclipses. And when we see these, I mean, for me, it reminds me, as somebody who has seen an eclipse before, all of the emotions that I felt when the temperature dropped, when we saw the diamond ring effect, the feeling we had when we were surrounded by people enjoying this moment together. All of those feelings come rushing back when I see these types of photos. And for newcomers who've never seen one before, when they see photos like this, to them, it inspires them to go out and see an eclipse. It makes them want to feel that same feeling they get when we look at these astrophotos. And so see, these are some of the most iconic ones. And of course, I wouldn't be a photographer if I didn't use this opportunity to show off my own photos. So the first three are incredible. And then there's mine down here in the bottom right. So why is it important? So to me, that is the most important part, is the photos that come from it. Because after the event's done, after everybody goes home, what's left is the photos that carry on for a long, long time. I mean, the photo in the top right here, this one from Albuquerque, I mean, that's an awesome photo. That was from 2012, and they still use that photo today on like NASA's website when they talk about eclipses. So I mean, a photo from 2012 still going and making its rounds through the internet, and it always goes viral every year, somebody posting that on social media. And I just love that. I love all these photos. It inspires me and makes me super excited for the upcoming eclipse, and I hope it does for you too. So the other things that matter for accommodating astrophotographers, well, developing the relationships with these photographers. You're getting photographers who are top tier talent, and they're traveling from all over the globe to come to this event. That's a huge opportunity to take advantage of, to develop that relationship with them, because they have such huge networks. And when you create these partnerships with the photography talent that you're getting, it creates future opportunities. Photographers love coming back to places to do workshops. And when they see photos, or when you see photos of an eclipse from the town that you were in experiencing it, it just makes it that much more special. So for me, when I see the photo from Wyoming, I know I took it, but it reminds me, whenever I see other photographers and their work, when they took an eclipse photo from Wyoming, it takes me back to that moment. And again, I think that's really, really special. Now, the community impact. You're bringing these astrophotographers to your town. I mean, they're going to be there whether you like it or not, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime event for a lot of people. But to me, astrophotography is the ultimate intersection of science and art. And so being able to utilize astrophotographers, their photos, and their knowledge can help grow a STEM interest in people who might not have had that. So people who seem to shy away from science might actually become interested in science because of the art aspect of astrophotography, and vice versa. And we'll go through these. So again, here, one of the coolest examples I have is in the bottom left here. This is a photo of a 12-year-old. His name is William. And he is a 12-year-old who took a photo of a galaxy using a remote telescope. We live in an era where we can now have the tools. We have all these tools available to us to take these types of photos that somebody, even a 12-year-old, can take photos that no one ever thought they could take. And so utilizing this kind of stuff will really help inspire the next generation of artists astrophotographers, scientists, all of that. And then I had to show my wife here on the right. She's a space artist. So she paints huge space murals, and we like to collaborate, and I'll take photos and she'll paint them. It's good fun. Okay, so we're all astrophotographers here because we all have one of these things in our pockets. We got phones, and everyone's going to want to take pictures. Everyone's want to live stream. Everyone's want to try and get a photo. I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, but the one on the right is a company called Spectrum, and they actually make a lens that goes over your camera lens. So you can get a zoomed in view of the sun, and you can put a solar filter on it. So you can actually get some pretty cool results. Here are some results that people have gotten with that for a solar eclipse. And on the photo on the left here is a photo of me in Wyoming, and we're live streaming the solar eclipse, which is super awesome. But then you also have to think about, well, she's live streaming us. That means someone had to take a photo of her live streaming us while we're watching this. So again, cell phones are everywhere. And now today, everyone's going to have a cell phone. So everyone's going to want to take photos. So one of the big opportunities we have here is to actually teach other photographers how to take these types of photos. And so one of the things that I do is I do workshops. I teach people how to take astrophotos, Milky Way and deep space, things like that. But there are a lot of other photographers within your communities who would love to teach other people how to take photos like that. And so a great opportunity would be to collaborate with experienced photographers, create workshops for people within your community so they can learn how to take these photos. Or you can also work with people online. As an astrophotographer, I'll tell you, I absolutely love teaching people this stuff. And I guarantee you, if you reach out to an astrophotographer that you see on Instagram or Twitter or whatever they call it now, or TikTok or whatever, they are going to want to teach people. And so that's a great opportunity. Just reach out to some photographers that you love. You see their work, you're like, we would love to do a digital seminar with you. We'd love to show people, how do you take those photos? They would love to teach people that. Trust me, they love sharing their knowledge. That's one of the cool things about astrophotography. It's a small community that's constantly growing, especially with technology coming up and coming. And they love teaching other people to learn how to do this stuff. And so hands-on workshops, as I was saying, and digital seminars are really important. And so these two lovely ladies over here had this idea for their event where you actually have a dedicated area for photographers to take photos. I can't tell you how many times people have had problems with, they call it picking the tripod, where you have your setup, totality's coming, there's 8 seconds, you're getting ready, take that photo. And then there's some excitement right next to you and someone gives you the little, and your camera just goes whoop, and you miss the shot. We want to avoid that. And photographers are very aware of their surroundings. They don't want that to happen to them, and they don't want to be the one doing the kicking. So if you have an area where they can, take photos and be away from the crowds, that would be perfect for them. That's a great way to accommodate them, because then they can create those photos that inspire us all. And this one, I had in my head somebody running up and just panicking like 10 minutes before it happens. They're like, my SD card is corrupted, or my battery ran out and I forgot my charger. If you have an event where you can have a local photography shop that has the spare equipment, you will be a lifesaver. I'll tell you, every event I've ever done, whether it's an Eclipse event or just any other event, there's always something you forget. You're traveling, and some people forget their camera lens. And if you have a photography store that has all of those things available, you will be a lifesaver, especially all the small little parts that we forget about. So for bigger events, you can work with big brands, Sony, Nikon, all of these companies are happy to send representatives out. You can work on deals with them to, hey, you guys do workshops for us and you get a booth here so you can sell your stuff, sell your equipment. And you can do for smaller events, people who do tripods or solar filters. There are tons and tons and tons of photography companies that are willing to send people out to do these types of events. Also because they like to go out and have an excuse to see an eclipse for themselves. And I just wanted to end this with the types of equipment you might run into. So some of you here are probably familiar with a lot of this equipment. And I just wanted to show the equipment you might see and the results you would get. So on the left-hand side is you'll see a lot of these white light filters. It's like the Mylar film, and they just go over the camera lens, and you get these nice, you get the ability to see sunspots, and you can view the solar eclipse. And what happens is when totality hits, what you do is you take your filter off, and you can take photos like that. But then once the sun comes out of totality, you have to put that lens back on. But that's the technique that photographers will be doing. Again, the kicked tripod, oh my gosh, that would be devastating for some people. And then there are dedicated, what they call hydrogen alpha telescopes. Some of you might be familiar with, where you can actually start to see the granulation on the surface of the sun. And this was actually our setup in Wyoming in 2017. And we got some nice eclipse photos. Again, I'm a photographer. I got to show you some of my photos, right? And then some of my favorites are some of my friends who are taking incredible astro photos using this equipment. These are stunning photos that are being taken. Some of these, they use what's called a Daystar Quark, and it's a piece of equipment that just goes between your lens or your telescope and your camera. And again, these are amateur astronomers and astrophotographers that are taking these types of photos. So it's not NASA that's taking these. These are photographers taking these types of photos. And so you can expect people wanting to get photos like that at your events.